Wine frequently visited that place, watching from the VIP booth reserved only for her, a floor above the boxing ring. It was, in fact, nothing less than a death snore affair. Blood, screams, and cries were all that place knew of. It was not a common boxing ring, it was life and death. The one to survive lives, while the other is buried 6 deep underground. It was just another day when she visited, her pendant twisted in between her fingers as she watched two men fight each other to death. These men were picked up from trash, sold, and raised to become absolute monsters for entertainment of the rich. Usually, the clans and their masters preferred choosing their security guards from here. The stronger, the better. Some even chose them for entertainment. As long as you can afford them, they're yours. One, since I got Jaekyung from here 3 months ago, none of them appeals me anymore. They're too weak and hardly able to survive. It is delaying my work. Patrick, if you tell me your requirements, I can get you one. Patrick swallowed and took a nervous step forward. Patrick, there's a fighter here. He's stronger than everyone. Even 10 Jaekyung are nothing before him. Wine chuckled. Fear. Those monsters, underworld men, afraid of a man picked up from trash. Wine, get him in the ring. Let's see how strong he is. Suddenly, her boredom was gone. She was amused and excited to see what this beast like man had for her. The current match was forcefully put to a stop. The next match announced, two beast like men entered the ring, both ripped from top to bottom. Eyes had no life in them. They carried an air around them which imitated the whole arena. until the pendant in her hand twisted again, until she found something in that man and finally stepped out of the booth. The manager's nervousness finally got a bit better after satisfying his terrific client. Once she was there, the match was finally over. Even the host took a few moments before calmly announcing the winner, staying 6 feet away from the fighter. One was dressed in a black dress that hugged her body, gloves covering her hands, and a dark red lipstick stood out. One could read his thoughts from the distance. Oh, another rich brat to try me. She felt like she was the one being chosen instead of the other way around. She got it why people were afraid of him, bringing them destruction. This beast could not be tamed. Wine, yes, she said and took a step forward. What is your real name? If Jay didn't react, Patrick clearly did and nervously added, Jay is his real name. It's Jay. The one before is taken, he replied, and Wine smiled. Wine, I think I might know who took him. Patrick was clearly confused by the conversation but said no word to disturb any of them. As his eyes fell on the pendant, emotions swirled in them for the first time. A lot of them, all at once. Pain, longing, and shock all at the same time. Upon clearly looking at her face again, he held her shoulders, a move so gentle none present there had seen before. Patrick, do you know each other? That's even better. He tried, but it backfired. When Mine's eyes shifted to him, there was nothing less than a cruel tyrant looking forward for a murder to take place. Yet as he stood there watching her take him away, he could not utter a word. Wine was not a force he could mess with. The absolute danger wrapped in a silk skin. She offered him help. They both clicked since they were in similar situation, from being alone to having a company. Life wasn't as bad anymore. They both continued to steal and would laugh after escaping and show off what they stole proudly. It continued for 2 more years like that until one day Jungkook never returned. Wine waited, cried, searched for him everywhere on bare feet, without an ounce to drink or a bite to eat. All she wanted was him, her only hope. One wandered the streets for a whole year like that, until one day, when she ended up in front of a car, the man inside saw her condition, brought her to his home, and raised her. The man was a mafia with a chronic illness, and he chose Wyan to be his heir. As a child, he tried so hard to escape to get back to Wyan, unwilling to give up, and due to that, he got in a lot of trouble, leashes, whips, and all kind of abuse he tormented until he finally escaped. But what could a man who was cut off from the world do to find a human in this huge world? He returned to this place since the world outside was foreign to him. This was the only place he knew and preferred to stay in for the rest of his life. Take it, I would still do the same one. I would get in any trouble to get you a better meal. One closed her eyes and held his hands, rough hand full with nothing but scars and taut skin. She brought it to her face and rested her cheek against his palm. All these years living in that dungeon, Jungkook had forgotten what it meant to have feelings, to have emotions. Yet his love and feelings for wine never changed. He watched as he softly rubbed her skin against the dirty hand and tried to pull back. Ziggy, where is he now? He held the pendant wrapped around Wine's neck. Wine, he died 2 years ago. I overtook his empire. Jungkook left the necklace and bent a little, pulling the hem of his trouser up from the ankle. Ziggy, when I escaped to search for you, I got this. Kept it since then, hoping to wrap it around your neck one day. When immediately removed the previous necklace, turned her back at him, sliding her hair to the front. The necklace appeared around her neck and he hooked it behind. Take it. It reminded me of you. Your body was always cold, and all I wanted was to keep it warm. He whispered before he rested his forehead against her shoulder, eyes down. Wine, then promise me to never leave me again, to never let me feel cold or have a bad meal. Jungkook pulled back. His moves were still hesitant, as if he was afraid of touching a divine lady sitting in front of him. He had finally returned her affection, hugged her back. He was not the malnourished kid from 10 years ago anymore. He was huge, powerful, and earned a lot of matches. Wine cooked him a homemade meal, took him off from work, and helped him get accustomed with the home. The outside world, the freedom, the blue sky, everything was unfamiliar to him, and Wine gave her everything to get him familiar with it. Every time she smiled, he healed. Every time she talked, his dead heart started to beat. Months, years, or decades. It didn't matter if he never got accustomed to the world. One was willing to stay a prisoner as long as she could stay in his warm embrace.